maybe some sort of sleepy or something. But we will not try to bore you here, and we'll try to make our presentation a little interesting so that you feel it's better and it's sort of not boring you. So we'll start with this. I'll start my presentation with the question that I have. What makes Violon the ultimate GPS tracking and IoT solution? Anyone?
Oh, you got like reports and stuff. You have a bunch of anybody can do dots on a map, but not everybody can do PTO the way we do it. Not everybody can integrate into another platform the way we do it. And it's overall, I mean, beyond dots and maps and positioning. I mean, we can do that too, but I think we just elevate it a little higher.
Awesome. Anyone else?
It's not a static website platform. It keeps on moving and adding more and more apps functionality, and also integration is easy.
Yes, we keep adding a lot of stuff, like upgrading new features and bringing new things which are in the market. So anyone else who wants to answer this?
I like the customization of it, so I can really tailor to the individual client.
Awesome, yeah. So, I'm sure you'll find many reasons to believe that VLON is the ultimate user tracking and IoT solution in the market. So, my name is Ranjan, and I'm Partner Success Manager for Gurtam, North America, and I have my colleague Soren, who will be presenting about some interesting use cases of VLON from around the world. So one of the use cases is about pharmaceutical tracking in Sri Lanka. So this is from a company which is one of the world's largest logistics company. They use VLON to track and store pharmaceuticals in Sri Lanka. There are many challenges while they do so. So in South Asia, they have to deal with high heat-sensitive biological products and substances that require high regulatory compliance to transport those goods. All pharmaceuticals are stored in special containers, which are transported under sub-zero temperatures. All containers are monitored separately because the sender wants to track his own cargo. During the transport, the containers may move and fall, which leads to accidental opening or damage of the packaging. So these are some challenges which this logistics company faces when they do transport and storage. So here is the implementation that is offered by our partner. They use wireless temperatures and humidity sensor from Pointer's Cellocator Nano with multi-sensors. From these multi-sensors, the information is sent to the CelloTrack Nano device over Bluetooth, and then the information is sent to VLON, where the controllers track the temperature deviations, if any. There are separate interfaces that were created by this partner for both dispatcher and the consignor to track their cargo. So the consignor tracks this in a separate interface which is developed by our partner, and the employees of the logistics company, they track the cargo on VLON, and they use Sensilator to visualize the data that is coming from these temperature sensors. They use separate device for door opening detection with vibration to ensure that the door is closed when unloading or loading is happening at the warehouse. So our partner was able to provide this solution and was able to showcase this in a stable operations with wireless sensors. the carrier was able to provide competitive edge over other competitors, and that means they got higher profits because the installation and time required for this solution was cut down. That by use of Violon, they increase the integrity and efficiency of overall solution. It also increased customer satisfaction, which led to higher business for our partner. Now I'll ask Soren to talk about his next case.
Hi guys, how's it going? That's a pretty good one. So this is try number 2 after my first attempt. So hello again, my name is Soren Hallbert. I'm the technical consultant for the U.S. Business Development team. Our second case is delivery monitoring with WayTag in Kuwait. So it is made up of a couple of difficult moving parts, but I'm just going to dive straight into it. So first, we did this project with a company in Kuwait called Zatat. Zatat is a food delivery service. We have a couple of these in the U.S. Known such as Uber Eats, Favor. There's a couple more out there, but they're pretty, I guess, interesting designs. So some of the things that we were running into is that, one, there's a lot of these vehicles out there. This company specifically, they served a lot of the major clients, such as Arby's, Dip and Dip, and McDonald's, and this was all achieved by our Kuwaiti partners, basically. So, challenges. Zatat has 500 plus delivery vehicles. This can include motorcycles, vans, bicycles. There's many different ways, and they're always moving 24/7. If you guys are familiar with the Uber interface, these people are allowed to work their own hours whenever they want, and there's no way to get all these vehicles anywhere for any amount of time. Second, Zatat wanted access to a 12-month history of all vehicles that they were struggling to track. Their current system didn't provide anything but an active track, and there was no way to go back and actually see anything that was happening previous. The third, it's beyond argument that time is money. The more units you have, the more time is required to implement a new solution. In the case of Zatat, we actually had to execute everything within a 2-week period. So, implementation. Since in these kind of cases of food delivery businesses, the company doesn't actually own the car, and we didn't need any information about the vehicle. We're not curious in the status or the condition of the vehicle. We only need to really track the courier or the holder of the package. So we simplified a lot of things by using one simple app. This was WayTag. So then all we had to do is have the couriers download the WayTag application. This gave them access to the goods location, speed, and the battery level of the courier's cell phone. Then they set up each restaurant with Wayland so that they could see the progress and use Wayland as an order storage. From here, they could use data for what they were already. Dispatchers could monitor vehicles online, build reports, notifications. They even used geophysics to actually control the dispersion of vehicles and drivers. So that way they didn't go over, I guess, they didn't congregate all in one area. So, as a result of this implementation, dispatchers were able to monitor the units and routes on 24/7 using Wayland hosting. 500 vehicles were connected to Wayland within a week. And Zatat can now get the historical data information that they were looking for, and they were able to store all of that information. I'll be handing over to Ranjan.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so I'll be talking about the third case, which is from which is about passenger tracking from Colombia. In Colombia, as you know, the country doesn't have any subways, so the public transport is largely dependent on large buses, which take the passengers from the outskirts of the cities to the downtowns. A lot of these passengers, they travel on these buses on a daily basis, and to cope up with the demand, there are a lot of private bus operator companies. So one of the large bus operator companies was looking to track its passengers. So they wanted to know the identity of those passengers to basically charge the companies who were paying for their rides. So they had about 2,500 registered passengers. They wanted to track their identity, they wanted to track travel time, distance, and the history of all rides. They also wanted to, what they were doing was they were maintaining physical records of all the passengers who were getting in and out of the bus. And all these records were later submitted to the company who were paying for the rides for those passengers. The system has had a lot of issues. From missing entries to unreadable entries. Obviously, because of being this records in physical format, it was also kind of delayed in submission to the companies who were taking these services. So obviously the payments were also delayed. So here's the implementation. Our partner provided this the solution on VLON by use of passenger module. So all 2,500 passengers' details were uploaded in the passenger module, and thanks to our developer team who did that by writing a script. They issued RFID cards to each of those passengers, and there was one of the RFID card reader. There was one RFID card in each bus that was installed. So each of these RFID card readers would read the RFID codes of each of those passengers who would get in and get off the bus. So obviously our system had record of all those passengers who were traveling in the bus, and he created a job which would automate the process of reporting. So all this data was captured in the form of reports in VLON, which were shared with the companies who were taking the service. And then since this process was automated, the payments were done on time. So here are the results. So it reduced the overall time and operations cost for the public transport company. It also increased the transparency in the whole system because of the auto binding feature on passenger module. It improved the timely payments because all of these reports were captured and sent to the companies who were taking the service. All of this led to happy customers, which led to more business. So I'll hand over to Soren to talk about his next case. Oh, you have questions? We'll take a question at the end.
I might forget.
Oh. You can write it down. Please.
I hope that inspires a lot more use. Yeah, I got it. I hope that inspires a lot more use using the passengers tab. I think in the US we have very little usage of the passengers tab at this point. So our first use case is about concrete delivery in Brazil. This was a very interesting project called Ready Mix Track, developed by our partners, Concrete. While concrete companies don't quite get the same level of fame as restaurants like my last use case, this was specifically built for larger companies unable to track their much larger fleets. So, going over the challenges, concrete cement manufacturers wanted to optimize the in-product delivery routes to construction sites. Optimization was implying spending less fuel and saving more money. Besides, clients wanted to wanted to be able to prevent unauthorized stops to ride and avoid concrete thefts. The concrete quality can fall dramatically if the product is transported under unsatisfactory conditions. The longer the concrete is in the truck, the worse it gets. The dispatcher would want to track in real time the exact discharge point. If the discharge point differs from the planned one, it means the concrete is being stolen. And the driver needs to know the exact directions to find the construction site. There are 2 reasons for that. Very often, the site doesn't have roads and or buildings, let alone addresses. Each mile of the route costs a fortune. A mixing vehicle requires a large amount of fuel. And the number of vehicles in the concrete company in the fleet is about 100, sometimes more. It's quite challenging to keep an eye on all of them at once. Overall, the end user was looking for route optimization, which means less mileage, less fuel, and more money, and no planned stops or shady trips, otherwise concrete debt. So, in order to implement a solution for this, we were able to use Wayland SDK and draw raw data to the Ready Mix tracking app. This tracked a couple things. So we could see the concrete mixer availability. If it is inside the plant or geofence, it is available. It makes it possible for the dispatcher to properly distribute load amongst available mixing units, and to prevent mixers idling or the other way around, their absence when they are needed most. The mixer location and current delivery step, for example, loading, being on the way to the site, or being on the way to the site, on site, or back to the plant, with unit statuses marked in different colors. For example, blue would be on the way, green is returning. Another thing that they were able to track is unauthorized stops. In case the truck stops off the site, it helps prevent concrete thefts. Discharge start time and duration to control the quality of concrete, and the detailed map of the route to track the exact location of the mixing unit and avoid unauthorized trips. They also wanted to track each stage of delivery to define the average duration of each stage to make up to daily trip plans to be more precise. After all of these ties to an advanced reporting program generating detailed informative reports on each cycle in the form of a chart, as you can see here. So as a result, the Ready Mix zapping track takes care successfully of all the issues that concrete plants face. It cuts down operation costs by 15 to 20%, which allows our partners to charge a higher price for their services. It raises the time management efficiency. The solution was such a success that each concrete company that a concrete company acquired exclusive rights to use it in Brazil so that no one else can have it. And while this was developed by that partner, Location Solutions, our partner in the Middle East got interest in the app as well and are profitably implementing it into their own region. I'll be passing off to Ranjan for use case number 5.
Okay, that was a very interesting use case. So I'm moving over to next use case that I have is from Mexico. It is about prisoners tracking. So the county of Nuevo Leon wanted to do a trial for the prisoners for minor arrests, minor offenses, and here were the challenges that they were trying to address. So they wanted to have a cost-effective solution to remotely monitor 500 prisoners under house arrest. They wanted to ensure that they remain safely inside their homes, and in case if they try to escape, they should be able to catch them. They also wanted the prisoner to realize that they are being monitored closely, and if they try, just in case if they think of going out and taking a walk around. So here's the implementation. So our partner used go-safe ankle bracelets with RFID tags with optical fiber to prevent tampering. They use LBS as secondary source of information in case GPS doesn't work. They use home beacons to read RFID tags in case to make sure that the prisoner stays inside their home. In case the prisoner walks out of their home, it would trigger a geofence alert on VLAN, and it will also vibrate and give an alert to the prisoner. In case he tries to cut the optical fiber or tries to get rid of the ankle bracelet, then it again triggers a alert on VLAN. So here are the results. The company was able to save 70% cost per prisoner. They were securely able to control 500 prisoners at their homes safely. And since the project is implemented, there were no runaways reported. VLAN is making cities and neighborhoods safer than before. So we have those 5 cases that we want to talk about, that we were talking about. Due to time limitations, we could not talk more about other cases. But if you want to learn about other use cases, then you can go to our website, click on this link, use cases library under communities section, and you can read about more cases. Soren, you want to add something here?
Yeah. So let's say none of these solutions are really tailored for you and you have a new idea. If you want to look at some of the more implementations that we have or applications that have been integrated into Wayland, or actually see the software developers that have made those, you can actually see them by going to community and software development. There's software developers on our page, and you can actually see the person who's completed the project as well as the project itself. Now, do we have any questions? Did you forget?
I think Tommy had a question. Did you write it down? Just kidding.
My passengers. So the RFID reader is capturing them when they go in. I don't do that, but
Everyone can hear you as well.
so the RFID reader is capturing the passenger as they enter the bus. Does it also read passively as they leave, or do they have to check out?
They have to check out.
Okay. So it's not an active RFID reader.
Yeah, I mean, there are different types of devices, so whatever type of device that you're using, it would behave in the same manner. So you can use Bluetooth or RFID or NFC, that's up to you.
So what about the one from the prisoner tracking in Mexico, right? So if there's a home device, what device is that? What hardware completes that solution? For example, if you're on house arrest, right? I have a really loud voice, are you sure? So I'm gonna hold it away so I don't blow everybody's ears out. Maybe I'll talk softer. So what does that hardware solution look like for something that, let's see, if you're on house arrest, you have an ankle bracelet, and you have and I took notes here, you have
RFID tag. RFID tag on the ankle bracelet.
so what is a home beacon? What is that?
Home beacon is a reader, RFID reader, that would read that RFID tag and would ensure that the RFID is tagged around the inside the home or maybe around a certain area.
Can you share what hardware that is?
I can introduce you to the partner who created the solution.
Okay.
That is, he can give you more insights about the solution, what type of device that they used, what type of implementation that they did on VLAN.
Okay. And then the second part of my question is the same thing with hardware, because as you're tracking this, I'm trying to listen carefully for the hardware side of it, and I'm not hearing it. So I know I've done some work with the mixing app, and then there's a sensor that's involved with that, but I still don't know which sensor that is. But I know there's a sensor for the actual mixing truck.
Yes, magnetic.
Yeah, there's a magnetic sensor, right? Like a Hall effect sensor, and then there's another sensor, and I don't recall what that is, but that one's a newer one. Do you know anything about that, or could you share any insight on that?
Yeah, I could think more into it. I know about the magnetic sensor that detects the rotation of the spin, because obviously that has a lot to do with whether it's the little spirals on the inside, whether it's pushing it out or keeping it back in. I'm not so much sure about the other sensor. I know Anthony is also working on this project right now. And you're working with Ready Mix Track right now? Do you know what that other sensor is that he's talking about?
I don't think.
We can discuss that later. in order to save time. But going back to the question about the hardware for the ankle bracelets, there are two available manufacturers right now. It's Megastec and GoSafe. So, and one of them is coming up with the 4G model. So, if you would like to, to know more, just feel free to come up to me and I'll let you know.
We have a last question.
Yeah, we have a last question from Mike.
Does that hardware actually work? I mean,
Specific?
for the prisoner, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
It's
can.
a funny question, but I've been there and done that, and yeah, so, I mean, and it really.
Or talk to Mike about
Yeah,
that.
no, actually, it really helps when you're able to, count on Gurtam and say, listen, we tested it in another part of the world, another part did well with it, so then now you spend time on the right hardware, right? So, I actually have a customer who was interested in that application, and he asked me for hardware, and I'm tasked to recommend something, so, you said, what was the first one,
Megastec and GoSafe.
Megastec
There are
and
two. Yeah.
And this part was successful in that application? I mean, as far as the functionality and the proof of concept?
We have customers who are using those hardwares. I can do an introduction to those partners who are already using those hardware, and I think they can provide you a better feedback on those devices. That's
That's the issue. I sell hardware as well, and my hardware is the best in the world, if you ask me, right? It's different when I ask Gurtam because you guys have actually seen another partner go through it.
So if you want to know which hardware the person is using, I can tell you which hardware those people are using.
Those
Those two are the ones.
Yes, they are. We have a
Yes.
partner who is in Ohio, and
Yeah.
he's tracking probationers and parolees, but it's not that sophisticated with RFID readers, right, or tags. So he just uses geofences, and then he reports directly to the court because he's a signed person. He's like a trusted liaison.
One of those two vendors.
Right, and he's using it as both, actually. So, okay. Okay, we're done with questions.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. You can talk to our partner success managers and they'll want to technical implementation specialists later.